is why I stream art, because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. You missed nothing at all. Because I thought I was ready, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna have it on my other screen, and it's gonna be fine, like when I do art. And then, now, it's being a little persnickety. Alright, so, okay. So, once again, to describe what's going on here, I'm playing Phoenix Wright, one of my favorite trilogies, as a reward because I finished the comic and I want to thank you guys for sticking with me. So I put a poll on both of those for you all to vote on which Phoenix Wright you wanted to start off with, and Phoenix Wright 3 won, which I was surprised. I thought you guys would want to like start from the very beginning. But it turned out it was Phoenix Wright 3 that won the poll. So, so we're gonna start a new game. I'm such a fan. So, Phoenix Wright 3 is probably like comprehensively all my favorite cases together. Now you won't get to meet Phoenix in the context that we all know and love him if you don't already know the Phoenix Wright games, but I'm assuming a lot of you already do, so that's why we picked Phoenix Wright 3. But I'll just give you a rundown. Phoenix is a lawyer in Japanifornia, as we like to lovingly call it, because it's not really quite America and it's not, but it's very like Japanese influenced, so we are just like, it's Japanifornia, and it's yeah. But this case is going to center around his mentor in the first game. Okay, I'm gonna try and not do it. Yeah. Okay. All right. How did I get into this mess? I think it's a guy. I don't remember any words. Why? Why did I do that? That girl, you shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, it's none of your business. I'm telling you for your sake. If you continue to see her, it's gonna be bad news. You're lying! Just listen to me. There's something you need to know about that girl. Stop it! Don't talk about her like that! Oh yeah, I remember. Oh, now I remember. Yes, I remember everything. Oh. It wasn't me! I didn't! I didn't do it! He didn't do it. I'm sorry, I'm such a fan. 5 years earlier, Mia Fey, second trial. April 11th, 9:40 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 3. Whew, it's finally time. I'm kind of nervous. Oh, Mr. Grossberg. Good morning. Mia, please calm yourself down. You're going to get yourself arrested for suspicious behavior, you know. What are you talking about? I'm relaxed, Mr. Grossberg. Look at me. Relaxed. Totally relaxed. Let go of my lapels! You obviously haven't got the temperament to be a lawyer. I am so sorry. It's just that I'm so nervous today. That's right. This is your first time in the big leagues, isn't it? Whatever you fear, my dear. I, Marvin Grossberg, am at your service. Actually, this is my second time in court. Still, you surprised me with your earnest request last night. Let me handle this case, you suddenly said, and quite forcefully, too. I just found out yesterday about the case, I mean. What? you've already learned all the relevant facts? And this is when they tell you to open the court record. Well, about that, you see, I mean, of course I have, I think. Oh dear. In any case, don't let our client see you're so nervous. You see the poor young man in the pink sweater over there? That's our client. Good morning there, everybody! Good morning. Keep smiling, Mia. I just wanted to say, I'll give it all I've got. Yeah, it'll be fine, no problem. Oh, what's wrong? Do you have a cold or something, Mr. Actually, it's right. Like, the Flying Brothers. People screw it up all the time. And yes, I have a cold. That's what the mask is for. My doc says this way I won't give it to anyone else. Be kind to others, he says. It's too real, man. Right, Mr. Wright. You have nothing to fear in court today. If you are truly innocent, I promise I will save you. Please, let go of my shirt! That's right, he's not the one on trial. He's the one on trial, not you. He's the one who should be nervous. You need to stay strong for your client, Mia. My name is Mia Fey. I'm still pretty new at this lawyer thing. The first time I appeared in court was a year ago. But that trial traumatized me so badly I thought I'd never set foot in another courtroom. It's been 1 year since then, and well, here I am again. But this time, I'm going to win. For my client. And for myself. April 11th, 10 a.m., District Court, courtroom number 2. I do miss the pixel art quite a bit. Oh goodness. It's time.
Court is now in session for the trial of Phoenix Wright.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
And the prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense today is Miss Fey, was it?
Yes, Your Honor. Is there a problem?
I was under the impression Marvin Grossberg was to be leading the defense.
Yes, well, you see, Mr. Grossberg had a bit of an emergency.
Emergency? But isn't that him standing right there next to you?
Yes, well...
You're just a rookie. Are you really sure you can handle this?
Actually, I should tap the court record real quick. Okay, so attorney's badge and Doug. Okay, so he died on the 9th, 3 p.m., and he was shot. Who do we know today? So we got Mr. Grossberg, we got Mr. Wright, we got Doug Swallow, and we got Dahlia Hawthorne. There you go. Okay. Don't let him scare you, Mia. Give him your toughest look. Of course, Your Honor. I think.
Well, Mr. Payne, your opening statement, please.
Well. I can't believe a veteran like me has to spend his time babysitting a new defense lawyer. Don't worry, little girl. It will be all over soon.
What was that all about? Was he trying to trash talk me?
Now then, I'd like to proceed with a summary of the events on the day in question. The incident occurred on the campus of Ivy University. The murder victim was a student named Doug Swallow. He was a fourth-year student studying pharmacology. I forgot what pharmacology was for a second.
Sounds like he was a very bright young man.
Yes, well, next we have a photo taken at the scene of the crime. Students discovered the scene shortly after the murder. They found the victim's body and the defendant, who had obviously bungled his getaway. They then called the police.
That certainly makes the defendant look very suspicious indeed. Very well. The court accepts this photo into the record as evidence.
Alright, so we got crime photo 1.
By the way, I can't quite tell the cause of death from this photo.
Judge.
Your reputation for sagacity is well earned, Your Honor. I forgot the word sagacity for a moment. The truth is that this victim died a rather unusual death.
Unusual death?
What do you mean, Mr. Payne?
Well, perhaps the defense would like to take this question.
Huh?
A simple question. I thought I might loosen you up a bit. I am a genteel man, if you will.
A what? Stand up to him, Mia. Show him what you're made of.
Ah, a perfect opportunity. Well, what was it? The cause? Go on. Please say you know at least this much.
I'm so sorry. I didn't get a chance to read through the whole file. Luckily for us, we did.
My hemorrhoids are beginning to act up. Now see here. The details of this case are filed under the court record. But you knew that already, didn't you?
The court record. I think I can see that by pressing tab.
All of the weapons we need can be found in the court record. Take a good hard look at the data and think carefully before you answer, my dear.
Yes, sir. I'll do this. Just that. Yeah. I gotta stay calm. I can't let that prosecutor get the better of me. The court record. Okay, let's just take a look. I just press tab, and here.
Now then, would the attorney for the defense please answer the question? What was the cause of death?
Electrocution.
According to the court record, it was a fatal electric shock. In other words, electrocution.
Electrocution? But how could have such a thing happened? Did the murderer use some type of new super powerful stun gun, perhaps? Set to high voltage?
The answer to that will become crystal clear as this trial proceeds, Your Honor.
There was a hanging wire, guys!
But before that, there is one more vital issue.
What's that?
Why, motive, of course. Apparently, there is some bad blood between the victim and the defendant.
Bad blood?
What do you mean?
Oopsie, I'm terribly sorry. You're the defense attorney, so you must know all about it. I shouldn't be stealing your spotlight like this.
I really don't like this guy's smug attitude.
That's Winston Payne for you. He's one smooth operator, if you catch my drift. No, I don't. They don't call him the rookie killer for nothing, you know.
Now then, let's hear from the defense. What was the source of the bad blood between the victim and the defendant? At this time, I'd like to see some support and evidence.
Alright, let's make sure we got this evidence. Do we have the evidence? Oh. I'm pretty sure... The girlfriend. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Alright. Alright. Evidence?
No need to get worked up over this. As I said, evidence can be found in the court record. Find the evidence you need and shove it into old Graybeard's face. Oh, he wants to talk.
Yes, sir. Into old Graybeard's face.
Mr. Grossberg, try to set a better example for the young lady.
Yeah, evidence isn't the only thing in the court record. People's profiles are there as well. You can toggle between profiles and evidence with tab. So be sure to go over it.
Now then, let's see what you've got. What was the cause of the bad blood between Phoenix Wright and the victim?
Right. So, boop. Winston Payne.
Take that!
The reason for the bad blood between the two of them was this woman here.
Dahlia Hawthorne, is it? Very good, Miss Faye. You seem to have picked up on at least this much. This woman is the girlfriend of the defendant, Phoenix Wright. But up until about 8 months ago, she was with the victim, Mr. Swallow. Clearly, she has some part to play in the story.
Oh, he's done it again. Before the cross-examination starts, he's already got the judge thinking like he wants.
Very well, Mr. Payne. Please call your first witness. If it pleases the court, the prosecution would like to call Mr. Phoenix Wright. What? The defendant himself? Well, Miss Faye.
It's fine. After all, Mr. Wright is innocent, right? The defense has no objection.
Very well. The court calls Mr. Phoenix Wright to the witness stand.
I must say, though, like, as someone who's played on the handheld and, like, used to all, like, the pixel graphics and things being small, it's so weird seeing them, like, oof, like, right in front of me. Alright.
Witness, please state your name and occupation.
Oh, yes. My name is Phoenix Wright. My job is, well, right now, I guess I'm a suspect.
No, he means what you did. What did you do before you were arrested?
Oh! I was a university student.
Mr. Wright, you understand that you are suspected in the death of your fellow student, Dr.
But I didn't do it! I'm innocent, I tell you! I'm telling you, I was... Did you...
Would the defendant please refrain from passing on his cold to the rest of us? It seems the witness has something he wants to say. Well then, Mr. Wright, please tell us about your relation to the victim.
Right away, Your Honor.
Is he practicing social distancing? He better! I don't know if his mask is practicing social distancing. That mask is going... The victim and I admit I was there. But I'm not a killer, and all I did was find his body. I hardly knew the guy to begin with. I never even talked to that stuck-up British wannabe.
I see. So you hardly knew the victim.
Right, like I said, I'm not a killer. Looks like the judge understands.
You're being naive, you know. Too naive.
Uh-huh. Oh, hey, welcome. You're gonna be lurking. Oh, good to see you're here. enjoy the show.
It seems that you've forgotten one small thing, young lady.
And that would be?
This witness still has to undergo something called cross-examination. Let me explain it to you in excruciating detail.
Cross-examination?
He's right, and it's the defense's duty to carry out the cross-examination. The purpose is to determine if a witness's testimony contains any contradictions.
Contradictions?
If a witness is lying, their statement will conflict with the court record.
But Mr. Wright is my client.
Even if he is your client, in court, all lies must be struck down with an iron fist of the law.
Yay! I'm glad someone loves the voices. I like them too. I am biased though.
As a lawyer, that is your duty, you see.
What does he mean by that? Is he saying that testimony is just now that there was a lie? A contradiction? Roll credits.
Now then, your cross-examination, if you please, Miss Faye.
Please, Mr. Wright, tell me you haven't been lying. Why, you always lie. You wouldn't do that to me, would you? Would he? He would. The victim and I... Now, my favorite tactic in this game is to press every statement until the game tells me not to, so you know what I'm gonna do. We're gonna press every statement. When you say there, you mean the place where the victim was murdered? Yeah, sort of. The place where something happened, anyway.
Something? You can't hide what happened. We have photographic evidence.
Anyway, Mr. Wright, what were you doing at the scene of the crime? I thought you said you didn't know the victim, Mr. Swallow. It was just a coincidence. We bumped into each other by accident. I swear.
A coincidence, huh? A coinky-dink, huh?
Yeah.
All I did was find the body.
You say you found the body, so who called the police? Huh?
Unfortunately, it was some other students that notified the police. Woof woof.
Other students?
That's correct. They were witnesses. Witnesses who saw the defendant standing there next to the body in shock. He was just standing there, like he didn't even care, like a guy had died right in front of him.
What? Is this true, Mr. Wright?
Achoo! Achoo! Achoo!
Oh, could you please stop sneezing every time you're in a bind? That mask is not helping anything!
Well, it's true. I was pretty shocked when I found the body. But I hardly knew the guy to begin with.
This is probably the one we're gonna have to, like, objection on, but press. So you didn't know his face. Or even his name, right? Oh, you know, it's probably gonna be like, that British guy.
Right. Well, no, that is, I mean.
So, which is it? Do you know him or do you not?
Achoo!
Now see here, you can't avoid answering the question by sneezing all day.
I guess I did know his name.
News to me. Why didn't he tell me that before?
I heard he used to date Dolly.
Who's this, Dolly person? I guess that would be the defendant's lover, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh, I see, young love. So bittersweet.
But that's all I knew about him. I never even talked to that stuck-up British wannabe.
Mr. Wright, you stated the following in your testimony. I hardly knew the guy to begin with.
That's right. I mean, why would I even...
that doesn't sound right. If you hardly knew him, then why would you say that the victim was a stuck-up British wannabe? Achoo! Well, Mr. Wright? No, it wasn't me. I'm not a killer, I swear.
Mr. Wright, I will give you an opportunity to revise your testimony. How is it that you knew that the victim was, as you put it, a British wannabe?
Well... He was always walking around with a huge Union Jack on the back of his shirt. Oh my gosh. I have a Dr. Did you see it at the crime scene? The Union Jack, I mean. Yeah, that's right. I saw it at the crime scene. That's why I figured he must love British stuff. See? See? It's true, cross my heart! I swear, I didn't do it! It's acting fishier than the salmon I ate last night.
May I ask you something, Miss Faye?
Yes, Your Honor. What is it now?
Who is this person anyway? This Union Jack fellow?
Judge, you don't know?
The Union Jack is the name of the United Kingdom's flag!
Oh. He didn't. Oh. I forgot.
Oh, I see. So you mean, like, the stars and stripes, right? As usual, Your Honor, your insight astounds me!
Hey, something just occurred to me. Isn't there something strange about this bit just now?
Yeah, there is a contradiction here.
Mr. Grossberg.
Quickly now, show that boy you mean business with evidence, I mean.
Okay, Mia, check the court record carefully.
Well, dear, do you think you can manage on your own from this point?
Yeah, I think I can. I think his jacket showed none of that. Yeah, it's a pretty blank jacket, unless it's on his front.
How would you know he's wearing a Union Jack? Because if he wore it on his back, you wouldn't have been able to see.
Okay. We're good.
I can handle this.
1 year ago, I was in a courtroom just like this. I can do it. I can handle this myself.
You mustn't try to bite off more than you can chew, Mia.
I'll be fine. I know what I have to do.
Remember, you can always press him to get more information. Oh, and one more thing. When you're going to state a contradiction, make sure you present some definitive proof.
Okay, Mia, one more time, from the very beginning of his testimony. That's why I like to press all the statements, because I don't know if it's in this game or if it's in later games, but they don't give you new information until you press every statement, and so I like the dialogue anyway. Alright. So I was there, but I'm not a killer. All I did was find his body. Hardly knew the guy. Never even talked to that guy. He was always walking around with a huge Union Jack on the back of his shirt. Okay, so... But he was like, I just saw it then. So we're gonna have to present the picture because... Yeah. He was on... Yeah, okay. Boop. Oh, right. I'm so used to playing on the DS. Okay, so E.
Objection!
E. Are you certain you saw the Union Jack? Yeah, I'm sure. It was right there on his back.
Miss Faye, is there some point to this line of questioning?
Your Honor, please take another look at the crime scene photo. As you can see, there's absolutely nothing on the victim's back. Hey, wait a minute! He's wearing a leather jacket! The Union Jack was on the back of the t-shirt he was wearing. I was under the impression that you accidentally came across the body. But if that was really the case, then you wouldn't know that, which... You'd have no idea at all what he was wearing underneath that jacket. Mr. Wright, you've been lying to me! Please forgive me!
Mia, you've made our client cry! He deserves it!
Let him! That P on his chest doesn't stand for Phoenix anyway! I can't believe I trusted him! Mr. Wright was all wrong. It's too funny. I'm sorry.
That was an impressive bit of cross-examination. Thank you for uncovering the defendant's lies for me. It's quite clear that this man did not simply stumble upon the scene of the crime. One does not simply stumble into Mordor.
Uh-oh. Did I go too far?
By the way, Mr. Wright, you seem to have a rather bad cold. Have you taken any medicine for it? Or is it...
I'm sorry. Yeah, I took some, but...
Was the medicine that you took an over-the-counter brand called Cold Killer X?
That sounds insane. Cold Killer X. Yeah, that's right. It kills colds. Good. It's ad time, everyone. Ad. Hey, wait a second. How did you know I'm a big fan of Cold Killer? How did you know I'm a fan of Mucinex? Oh my gosh.
Hey, would you happen to have that medicine with you right now?
Well, actually, I seem to have lost it somewhere. He lost it? Does this even have anything to do with the case?
Mr. Wright, shall I tell you where your cold medicine is right now?
Huh?
Your Honor, I'd like you to take a look at another photo from the crime scene. What's this? In the victim's hand, it's Cold Killer X. Not like he could also buy it from over the counter.
Yes, but even I've got a bottle of Cold Killer X in my apartment.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid that argument won't work. There's no doubt as to who this bottle of Cold Killer X belongs to. Especially since Mr. Wright's fingerprints are all over it.
You better wipe that down soon after. You don't want to get infected with what he may have.
What? Sensing his murderous intent, Mr. Swallow must have picked up the bottle of medicine, dropped by Mr. Wright and hid it in his hand. His purpose in doing so can only have been to identify his killer as Phoenix Wright. Order in the court! Your Honor, I'd like to present this photo and bottle as evidence. Very well. The court will accept them into the record.
Alright, we get another photo. And Cold Killer X.
Awesome. The victim's wristwatch was broken.
Broken?
Yes, it ceased functioning when a large wave of electricity passed through it. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have some kind of explanation for all of this?
This is really bad.
Oh, my buttocks! My poor hemorrhoids!
Oh my gosh. What really happened on that day? The truth is, I went because he called me. He was in the pharmacology department, so we agreed to meet at 2:45 behind that building. We talked for a bit, and then around 3 we split up. Then later, when I went back, I found him lying there. I'd been taking Cold Killer X for the last 2 to 3 days. This is an ad again. But I lost my bottle of it around lunchtime on the day of the accident.
Mr. Wright, that is completely different from the testimony you gave previously. Stop wasting our time.
Choo!
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I was afraid you wouldn't believe the truth.
Sniffle, sniffle.
You'll forgive me if I say I hardly find your current testimony, any more credible.
Miss Faye, please begin your cross-examination.
Oh, please, Mr. Wright, don't tell any more lies. Why you always lie? Sorry. I gotta say, Payne's voice really, like, brings up the phlegm. Okay, truth is blah blah blah, let's press it. Had you ever met the victim before then?
No, never! But that day he called me up and told me he wanted to talk about Dolly.
And this Dolly person is...
You already said that. It's kind of embarrassing. She's like my sweetheart. Ooh, what was that for, Mia?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just felt like slapping something all of a sudden.
Dahlia Hawthorne was also the lover of the murder victim, Doug Swallow. Before she met Mr. Wright, that is.
So it was one of those nasty love triangles I see. I love those in movies. Those are my favorite.
Alright, press. Was it Mr. Swallow who indicated you should meet at 2:45?
Yeah, and we were both there right on time.
You said the victim was in the pharmacology department, correct?
Yeah, he was studying how to manufacture and improve pharmaceuticals. Everyone called him Alchemist of IVU. Oh, did they know?
An alchemist, I see.
I gotta admit, I was a little suspicious. He had a whole laboratory and everything. It was filled with chemicals and strange machines that run on high voltage electricity.
Oh, how fascinating. He sounds like he was quite an ambitious young man.
What do I do? Maybe I should ask him for some more details. Okay, I don't remember. I think I should ask him about the time. So you are absolutely certain that you met at 2:45?
Yeah, pretty sure that's the time class ends. But they're always doing experiments, so it doesn't matter much.
Experiments?
Yeah, those pharmacology guys are always in the lab whipping something up.
Well, it looks like he's right about the time anyway. Wait. I gotta see this watch. I know the watch is important. Roman numerals. Okay, that's 12, right? So his watch stopped at what? Two, probably two? Is that two? I'm like, did it stop at 2:45 or did it stop later? I can't. Oh no. I'm revealing too much about myself here. It's like... Hey, if anyone knows how to read analog, let me know. It's gonna be important later. Okay. We talked for a bit, and then around 3 we split up. Okay. Press. So, what was it you were talking about?
You know, maybe we should hang out again sometime.
Hang out again sometime. I wish that were true.
Then later when I went back, I found him lying there.
So you say you went back?
Yeah, that's when I found the body.
But why did you go back in the first place? Weren't you angry with him?
Well, that's right, I was.
Then why, Mr. Wright? Why did you go back there?
I thought maybe we could make up.
True. Judging by the atmosphere, I'm pretty sure no one is buying this. I've been taking Cold Killer X for the last 2 or 3 days. It's rather unusual to catch a cold this time of year, isn't it? Yeah, I always get a little careless when the weather starts to warm up. I guess I shouldn't sleep with the window open this early in spring, huh? I suppose common sense is not always common. So, did anyone else know that you were taking the cold medicine? Well, I always took one after meals, so I'm pretty sure all my friends knew about it.
I lost my bottle around lunchtime.
On the day of the incident, what did you do for lunch? Huh? What does that have to do with anything? You can never be too sure. I always eat with Dolly. Just the 2 of us. Dolly's homemade lunches are just the greatest. Her mini omelets are magically delicious. Ouch! Why'd you punch me in the jaw? Oh, I am so sorry. I just feel like hurting someone all of a sudden. Oh, dear. I don't know. I can't seem to find any contradictions. Oh, isn't exactly what I'd call a natural-born liar, you know. But still, we can't have him continue to spout nonsense. I know, but what can I do? I'm certain he must still be hiding something. Information! Right now, it's information we need more than anything else. So, I'm pretty sure I have to ask the other thing, so... around that building, we talked for a bit, and then around 3 we split up. Okay. Pretty sure. So then I gotta... Yeah, he's so great. He's so awesome. What an awesome guy. Wow, he's the coolest. Too bad he had to die. Yeah, tell me about the plot. I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about the pharmacology department. Okay, well, sure. I don't know all that much, though. A little bit earlier in your testimony, you said something interesting. You said the department uses strange machines that run on high-voltage electricity. That's right, and they sure look dangerous. They use non-standard voltages. Yeah. They use non-standard voltages, so there are high-voltage cables everywhere. High-voltage cables? Yeah, there were electrical poles set up all around the building. High-voltage cables run overhead, around the roof. Oof. Oofa. Finally, I think we're getting somewhere.
I think that's enough for now. So the defendant and the victim met at approximately the time of his death. And then the defendant returned to the scene for some unknown reason. I'm not entirely convinced by his explanation about the medicine bottle either. Let me be frank here, Mr. Wright. Your testimony cannot be trusted.
What do you mean?
I knew it was too much work for a little girl. However, there is one mystery that still remains. There is, Your Honor. How the murder was carried out, of course. Just how was the victim electrocuted? I don't believe the murder weapon has been produced yet. Correct. Well, that is, you are correct, Your Honor.
So how exactly was Mr. Swallow killed? If I could somehow establish how it was done, maybe I could still come out of this mess smelling like a rose? Yeah, we can. Finger guns. Your Honor.
Yes, Miss Faye?
I believe that if we were to piece together everything we've heard up until now, we should be able to solve the mystery of how Mr. Swallow died.
That would be most impressive. Quite the brash statement coming from a rookie. But even a beginner like you must understand the basic rules of the court, yes? An attorney must be able to substantiate their arguments with evidence.
Evidence. Of course I know that. Actually, I totally forgot about that.
Now then, Miss Faye, let me see what you've got. Show me how you believe the victim was electrocuted.
Okay, so... Okay, so we have that. I mean, how can I say he was electrocuted at the lab? I think he was electrocuted at the lab. But, I mean, this seems pretty obvious. I do not remember this one at all. Oh my gosh. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's it. He was definitely electrocuted. As for cause of death, I'd say this picture captures it quite well.
What?
But there's nothing that can even remotely resemble a murder weapon here. I'm afraid the defense is going to have to explain this in a bit more detail. Miss Faye, where exactly in the photos is murder weapon? I didn't think it could be this. Okay. Maybe it's this. Well, naturally, it's right here.
That's... What is that?
A severed electrical cable. Oh my gosh. I believe, Your Honor. Remember the testimony we've heard. The machines that the pharmacology students use in their experiments require high voltage. And because of that, there are special high voltage cables strung up everywhere.
So then the high voltage cable...
Yes, the high voltage cable is the cause of death. That is the most likely explanation.
That certainly sounds plausible. Well, Mr. Payne, what do you have to say about this? Well, I believe some praise is in order.
Don't toy with me, old man.
Now, the victim's cause of death may indeed have been a high voltage cable. However, I want you to think about what that really implies. The only one who had the opportunity to use the cable as a murder weapon was the defendant.
True.
That much is certainly true. Yes, and that's not all. We have proof. Irrefutable proof that will establish that Mr. Wright was the murderer. You do? Well, what is it? His fingerprints. Fingerprints? Why didn't we talk about this earlier? You mean that the defendant's fingerprints were on something besides the medicine bottle? Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. As you can see, the victim is wearing a leather jacket. And as you may know, leather holds fingerprints quite well.
You mean?
Yes, it was quite clearly imprinted on the chest area of the victim's jacket. The palm print on the palm print of the defendant's very own hand. Excuse my mistake. What? I can only think of one way Mr. Wright could have left a print like that. Intent on murder, he squarely pushed the victim towards the severed electrical cable. Order! That is enough! I think we can conclude there is no reason to continue with this cross-examination.
Stick a fork in us. We're done.
Mr. Grossberg?
My hemorrhoids never lie. The show is over, Mia. I knew that boy was guilty the first time I saw him. As to quote Taylor Swift, I knew he was trouble when he walked in.
No, you're wrong. Mr. Wright is innocent.
No further evidence is required to convince me of this man's guilt.
Your Honor!
At this time, I am prepared to render a verdict in this case.
Wait, there was an umbrella.
Do you
have something further to add, Miss Faye?
Is this what you want, Mr. Wright? You still haven't told us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but... If you don't say something now, the judge is going to hand down his verdict. But I can't! I just can't say it. If I told you what really happened, then I'd be... It's okay, Mr. Wright. I'm your attorney. You can trust me. Miss Faye. No matter what it is you have to say, I believe in you, and I'll represent you to the very end.
We've already established the defendant's guilt! There's no further need for him to say anything!
Wait a minute! Mr. Wright? I'll tell you what really happened.
But I've already told you, Mr. Wright, there's no need for further...
I did it. But I admit it, I pushed him! It's my fault. My fault that the dog Swallow is dead! Oh, he was carrying the umbrella. Whoops. That girl. You shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, it's none of your business. I'm telling you, for your sake, if you continue to see her, it's going to be bad news. You're lying! Just listen to me. There's something you need to know about that girl. Stop it! Don't talk about her like that! Bum, bum, bum! His pompadour's ruined.
What you just said, was that
The truth? Yes, I was afraid. Afraid that if I told the truth, everyone would think I was the murderer for sure.
well, as things currently stand, we're all absolutely convinced you are.
Please give me one more chance to explain. This time I swear I'll tell the whole truth. It'll be okay, won't it, Miss Faye? I believe in you. Oh, thank you. I still can't believe it. He really did push the victim. Oh goodness, my poor dogs. It feels like my hemorrhoids are doing the Harlem Shake. Rosebud, please. Rosebud, please. I don't want to know about your hemorrhoids like that. When I push the victim. Woof woof. Woof. Woof woof woof. Woof. That guy, he was talking bad about Dolly. Stop! I lost my temper and gave him a shove. At that moment, I heard some kind of loud noise. A little while after I left, I started to get worried. So I went back, but he was just lying there, dead.
Look, the explanation is really quite simple. When you pushed him, Mr. Swallow flew back and touched the electrical cables. He died from this shock, and that, as they say, is that. A simple explanation indeed. At the time of the incident, a light rain had been falling. Wet from the rain, the victim was more easily electrocuted.
But he had an umbrella. But when I pushed him, there weren't any electrical cables nearby. If there had been something like that, even I would have noticed it. Yeah, guys, everyone should have noticed it. That's true, even a doofus like him couldn't miss that. Dang, don't be so mean to the judge, guys. The judge didn't notice the electrical cable.
Miss Faye, let me warn you right now that if your cross-examination doesn't yield any new facts, I intend to deliver my verdict without further delay. Are we clear on that?
Yes, Your Honor. Don't give up, Mia. If he is innocent, there must be some kind of evidence somewhere that will prove it. Alright, you guys know the drill. I press every statement. No statement left unpressed.
Alright, when I push the victim. Alright, he's talking bad. What'd he say? What'd he say? So what kind of things did Mr. Swallow say to you? He said all sorts of terrible things about Dolly. He said that she was a bad girl. No.
Is that all?
Yep.
Well, Miss Faye, you heard him yourself.
Oh boy, you're not doing yourself any favors here, Mr. Wright. Please don't make this harder for me than it already is. Anyway, after he said that, I you know. Can you tell me about what happened in a little more detail? The guy, he just said what he wanted to say to me. And then he put on the jacket he was holding and started to leave. And that's when I lost my temper and I flew into a furious frenzy. And boom. I just gave him a light, gentle shove to the chest. And when you did that, there was no severed cable anywhere to be seen. Right! There was nothing like that at all.
But is it possible that you merely overlooked it?
Well, I guess it's possible. What are you doing? Don't let that guy steamroller over you like cheap asphalt.
I believe what's important here is the moment the push occurred. Let's continue on with the testimony witness.
Okay. He's heard some kind of loud noise. A loud noise. And what would you say that loud noise was, Mr. Wright? I'm not sure, but it was really loud. It was like, snap. You know, come to think of it, I wonder what that was.
Clearly, Your Honor, it was the sound of the victim being electrocuted.
You're not qualified to decide that. What should I do? I'm treading on some dangerous ground here. Yeah, we gotta ask for D. We gotta ask for D. You know what? Yeah, I know what it is. Mr. Wright, that loud noise you heard may be extremely important. So try to remember what it was. How do I put it? It was like a sharp crack? Oh, could it have been... Yes, could it have been? Hurry up and tell us. When I pushed him, he dropped the umbrella he was holding. Ooh, what you say? He fell right on top of it, and it broke. That was probably the noise I heard. An umbrella.
And did that umbrella belong to the victim?
Yeah, it was a plastic umbrella, cheap and frail, kind of like the other. Then again, I wish I had any kind of umbrella. I was totally soaked to the bone.
Miss Faye, what do you think? Is there something important in that testimony just now?
Well... I feel like this is gonna, like, indict him so bad. This is it. Mia, this is the new information you've been waiting for. Of course it's important! No, this cheap umbrella is more important. It's vital! I want to officially have it entered into testimony.
Oh, how perfectly fitting. Flimsy information for a flimsy lawyer. Court agrees that the defense's request. Witness, please add the bit about the cheap umbrella to your testimony.
Alright, I'm gonna take a quick look. Because we're gonna have to contradict my dude again. Because it's there. But this is gonna prove us not guilty, because if he fell backwards when Phoenix was there, and then he's forward now, it's gonna save us later. It's gonna save us later. It seems like we're, you know, we're stewing our own grave here, but...
and then he went back, and he was just lying there. Yeah. I mean, I like pressing everything, but maybe I should just go to the last one. A little while after that, I started to get worried. Yeah. I'm really sure I'm just have to present the other thing. Let's just press the last statement just to see what he says, and then I'll go back to the one I'm pretty sure it is. At the time, did you see anyone else at the scene of the crime? No, nobody! Jeez, could that stupid cough sound any phonier?
In that case, it's very hard to believe someone else could have been the murderer.
Unless we can find something that shows his innocence from the testimony we did. I'm afraid the judge will make his final decision with no remorse whatsoever.
Yes, sir. Right now I need more info. Info that will help me turn up some contradictions. Yeah, so it's basically confirming. So we're gonna... Boop. I Sparta kicked him. Fell down on his umbrella. Oh, right. And then we have to present. Alright. Well, Feeny. Sorry, buddy. But this is for your own good. Why didn't you testify about the umbrella from the very beginning?
Come on, if I had mentioned that...
I would have been able to counter the prosecution's arguments earlier.
What do you mean by that?
Take another look at the crime scene photo. According to Mr. Wright, the victim fell on top of his umbrella. However, if you look closely, the umbrella is nowhere near the victim. Actually, it's by the electrical pole.
You're absolutely right!
The conclusion here is obvious. After the defendant left, the victim moved from where he fell. In other words, after he was pushed by the defendant, Mr. Swallow was still alive.
No!
Order! 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 The victim, he moved! Mr. Payne, the umbrella in this photo, where is it now?
Well, it was collected by the police at the crime scene.
I want it presented as evidence immediately.
Umbrella added to the court record.
But the umbrella could have simply been blown there by the wind.
According to the testimony, the victim fell on top of the umbrella. There's simply no way it could have been blown there by the wind. Thank you.
I know this matter of the umbrella seems relatively trivial. But as long as the smallest doubt remains, I cannot render final judgment.
So you get a second one.
I must say, I still find it hard to believe that a huge hole has been blown in the prosecution's case by the defendant's testimony.
New testimony.
Well done, Mia.
Mr. Payne, what are you chuckling about?
Oh, I lost it for a second, I'm sorry.
Pardon me, Your Honor. It seems I was expecting too much of a free ride. It was foolish to think I could establish guilt through cross-examination alone.
I'm afraid I don't follow what you're saying.
Let me guess. You have another witness.
Exactly! And this witness's testimony will be incontrovertible. I forgot the word incontrovertible for a second, but now I know it.
Who is this witness?
Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
Dahlia Hawthorne? You don't mean Dolly?
I do, Your Honor. The defendant's very own lover is a witness to the whole thing. That's right. She was at the scene of the crime when the murder took place.
Sorry, I think that was my story.
What? I'm sorry to break the bad news to you, my dear.
news? You couldn't be more wrong. Actually, I've been waiting for this.
You can't be serious.
Mia, what do you mean by that?
I think this is a good point for us to stop at. Court will now enter a 20-minute recess. Let me check my time. Well, actually, we have a bit more time, everyone, so we don't actually have to hit a 20-minute recess. We have, about 30 more minutes or so. So, sit back and enjoy the rest of the stream. Afterwards, we will listen to the testimony of one Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. Bam. Act 1. Bam, bam. April 11th, 11:52 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3.
Miss Faye, I'm sorry about what happened back there. It's alright. At least you told us the truth in the end, Mr. Wright. Yeah, so I guess I can start to relax then, huh?
Relax, my boy. You can't be serious after hiding such important facts.
But the next witness is my dolly, right? She'll save me, I know she will. Why do you think that? Huh? What do you mean? She's the love of my life, that's why. The love of your life, huh? Would you mind telling me more about you and, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne? Sure, no problem. Dahlia and I, we first met about 8 months ago, right here in this very courthouse.
Bro, what?
Actually, I'm studying to be a lawyer. On the side. Anyway, one day she and I just bumped into each other in the reading room downstairs. That's why I really think it was fate that brought us together. As soon as I first set eyes on her, I knew she was the one for me. Oh, here, take a look at this. She gave this to me the day we met as a symbol of our love. She'd been wearing it around her neck that day, but then she took it off. But before she gave it to me, she said, I want you to carry this.
So she gave it to you as a present, I see.
This darling little bottle is filled with memories of my darling little dolly. Certainly is a little bottle, alright. Makes me so happy. I show it to everyone I meet. I want to share my happiness with the whole world. Oh, great. Yeah, Dahlia, she's the greatest. Anyway. So after that, you and Miss Hawthorne started dating? Yeah, but she's so shy. Every time I see her, she always says the same thing to me. Please give it back now.
What a strange girl asking for a present back like that.
Anyway, by the way, Mr. Wright, the day you first met Dahlia Hawthorne 8 months ago, it wouldn't happen to have been on August the 27th, would it?
Huh?
Yeah, it was, but how did you... This happened on August 27th, right here in this courthouse.
What's this? A newspaper clipping? Let's see. Murder in the courthouse? Murder? What are you reading there? Let me see that. Oh, I see. Mia, I think I understand what you're trying to say. And I think I understand why you suddenly took such a keen interest in this case. You believe there's some connection between these two cases, am I correct?
Oh, we better look at the newspaper clipping.
I hope you don't mind, Mr. Grossberg. I need to finish this myself.
Oh, yes, but I'm afraid what you have will not be enough, Major. I'll go and have a look in the downstairs reading room and see what else I can find.
Thank you.
I want to do whatever I can to be of help to you, Mia. Well, it looks like recess is about over. We better all get moving.
I guess so. That recess sure seemed longer than 20 minutes, though. Could even be like 45. Just kidding. Are you sure? It seemed more like 5 minutes. Time to save our progress. Ooh-wee. Alright. April 11th, 12:13 p.m. District Court. Courtroom number 2. Now, it seems like we're getting some stream blips again. I'm gonna try and reload mine, so maybe I can see things better. I wanna make sure you guys have a nice stream. Oh, I can tell y'all a quick story though while I'm doing this. So the whole reason why I started giving the judge like the Regis Philbin / Mayor of Townsville voice, there's like, I think there's a typo in the first DS game where when he says court will now reconvene, he goes, there's no R in there, so he goes, court will now reconvene. So I was like, oh, well, yeah, that, of course that's the voice I gotta give him. Considering. Alright, I have reloaded, and hopefully, yeah, I hope you guys' stream is staying pretty consistent. Alright.
Court will now reconvene. Mr. Payne, please call your witness.
This next person is someone who witnessed the crime as it happened. The prosecution calls Miss Dahlia Hawthorne to the stand.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. For any of us who've played this game, what's with the stiff silence?
In my long career as a judge, I have been deceived by many witnesses. It's my job to doubt, to take no one at their word. But in your case, I must admit that you radiate a glow of complete sincerity.
Oh great. I can't believe he actually said that.
Oh, now then, witness, could you please state your full name?
Don't worry, sweetie, there's no need to be nervous.
If anyone says anything rude, you can be sure I'll cut them down right to size.
And I will bash them with my gavel.
I love how they look straight at me when they say that.
Thank you for calming my nerves. You were also nice. I almost feel right at home. Not at all.
It was nothing.
If we may move on now, what is your full name and occupation?
My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I'm a junior in literature at Ivy University. I just want to say, it's an honor for me to be here in your noble presence. The honor is all mine!
Oh, the honor's all mine.
Well, we know whose milkshake brings. Oh god. Y'all gonna make me read that? We all know whose milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. We know whose Pokemon cards bring all the nerds to the yard.
Sir?
Is there something?
Oh, wrong voice.
Is there something I can help you with?
You just go on and say whatever is on your mind.
I'm sure there must be some kind of mistake. Feeny wouldn't kill anyone, I just know it.
Yes, I can see why you'd say that.
She's going to be a tough witness, alright. It only took her 12 seconds to wrap them all around her little finger.
Now then, please proceed with your testimony. Let's hear about what you witnessed on the day of the incident, if you please.
What I witnessed. I had been planning to go back to Feeny's place after class was over. Feeny and Dougie, they were talking behind the building.
Then suddenly, Dougie got all wobbly and just collapsed. That's when Feeny noticed that I was there. I went to go and find some other students, and they called the authorities.
I don't know what to say. According to you, Miss Hawthorne, it's like he force-pushed him with his mind. I mean, the defendant didn't do anything wrong. Young lady, as old as I am, even I recall how hot the flames of young passion can burn. Nevertheless, it is my job to discover the truth. Please tell us the truth.
But I would never. That's more than enough, witness. I won't allow this to continue.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
Please, just let me proceed with my cross-examination, Your Honor. I, for one, don't plan to win my case on a bunch of paper-thin lies. You haven't changed a bit, Mia Fey.
What's this? So you two are acquainted?
Yes, we've met before. Once.
In any case, Miss Fey, the floor is all yours.
It's good to see you again, Madam Fey.
Madam? I'm no one's grandma yet, girlie. What eyewitness? What eyewitness?
Alright, so we press everything. Now, unless I'm mistaken, Mr. Wright is in the art department. Art department shout out. If that's the case, then what were you doing by the pharmacology building? Well, I'm in the literature department. I'm studying Japanese senryu poetry. Or is it senryu? She wouldn't know. Anyway.
Oh, how wonderful. It's that humorous yet satirical style of haiku, yes?
Nothing left to do. When a man reaches this age, sleep is his best friend. That's supposed to be poetry? Sounds more like a midlife crisis. For me, to get to the art department, I have to walk through that back area.
Ah, yes, I see. That makes total sense.
I know! See, that's why Phoenix and I are kindred spirits. We both, like, are art department students, but somehow he became a lawyer. But, like, kindred spirits, you know? Okay, here we go.
When I want to enter the courthouse, I always walk through the front doors.
How else would you enter? Teleportation? Alright. Press.
Holy.
So, who is this Dougie person?
My Dougie.
My Dougie? Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Doug Swallow, we were dating until about 8 months ago. So, what were Mr. Swallow and Mr. Wright talking about anyway? How can you be so mean? I would never eavesdrop. I wasn't raised to be so rude and unrefined.
That's right, Miss Fey. Don't drag the witness down to your level.
Why am I being demonized here?
Please, go on. What did you see next?
Alright. Press! Are you saying that the victim just collapsed on his own?
Yes.
In other words, the defendant never touched the victim. Is that right? Say it loud for the people in the back.
I was watching the whole time. Feeny never did a thing to Ducky.
if I press her for no good reason? I know the judge will just get angry with me. So what should I do about her testimony just now? Oh, yeah, show the contradiction. Feeble lies are not very becoming, Miss Hawthorne, so let's drop them, shall we?
What? I would never... Miss Fay, I will not allow you to badger this witness. I believe the defense is engaged in a fishing expedition. That is... she has no supporting... Please, don't glare at me like that! I'm just doing my job!
Now then, Miss Hawthorne. The defendant's palm print was found on Mr. Swallow's leather jacket. It has already been shown that Mr. Wright did, in fact, push the victim.
What?
And it was not a force push. There's no need to try and cover for the defendant. It would be much better if you came out and told us the whole truth.
There's nothing to worry about, young lady. Just tell us everything that you saw.
Yes, Your Honor, I will. And if you don't mind, I'd like to revise my testimony. Looks like we're finally getting somewhere.
Actually, I didn't see the moment he pushed Dougie. Well, what did you see?
You didn't see it?
Well, I saw the moment when Dougie fell to the ground. And at that time, there was only 2 of them at the scene. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and the victim, Doug Swallow.
Yes, that's right. And it didn't look like they're fighting. So then what did it look like they were doing to you?
I thought they were having a nice, friendly afternoon conversation.
Oh, give me a break.
That's why I really wasn't watching them all that closely.
Did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all?
No, nothing at all, Mr. Judge.
Oh, I like the sound of that, Mr. Judge.
Judge is already your title, Judge.
Now then, please proceed with your testimony.
Yeah, she went to go. I'm pretty sure here, it's here. They didn't look like they were fighting, and then I didn't hear anything unusual either because that's gonna contradict Phoenix's statement. So, question, should I just go and press everything? Or should I? I think we're good. Beep. Beep bop. Boop. Oh, I did want to check this out. Check. Little information being disclosed. However, police are questioning a 19-year-old female college student who is sitting with the victim. Okay. Murder in the courthouse. Murder in the courthouse. Okay. Cool. And then Phoenix. He heard something very loud. Bam. Oh. Bam. You say you didn't hear anything unusual. Is that correct?
Yes, that's why I was very relaxed, looking at the scenery around me.
Oh boy. That's nice, but I find that just a little odd. I have here the testimony of your boyfriend, Mr. Phoenix Wright, and he clearly testified to the effect that when he pushed the victim, he heard a sharp, loud noise.
He said that?
If you were really that close to the 2 of them, why didn't you hear this noise as well? I had my AirPods in.
Well, maybe the noise just wasn't all that memorable.
But according to Mr. Wright's testimony, it was a sharp noise like a snap. Like, There's no way a noise like that could fail to make an impression. I'm out of water. Well, we have like 15 minutes left, so... Yeah, she is so creepy. Oh my gosh. I just want to strangle her, honestly.
May I have a moment to answer? Oh, by all means.
I know the reason why I didn't hear the noise. You see, the truth is, I had my headphones. Damn it! I had my AirPods. I had my AirPods in, and I was listening to music at the time. AirPods? You mean that both of your ears were covered? Dogs aren't happy about that either. The rain was just beginning to let up, but I'm sorry. It seems as though Thor wasn't ready for his fun to come to an end just yet. So the sky continued to flash and rumble. Thunder and lightning, huh? Yes, I'm afraid the sound of the thunder. So I'm afraid of thunder, and so I put the headphones on to block it out.
Well, Your Honor, as you can see, there weren't any contradictions in her testimony after all.
Wait a sec, Mena. That testimony just now. She said something that could totally change this whole case. She didn't hear anything. She was listening to music. There was lightning. That's kind of weird. Your Honor, there is a problem with the witness's testimony.
What do you mean?
Didn't you notice she said there was lightning, correct?
Yes, what about it?
Well, lightning is actually a large discharge of electricity in the atmosphere, am I right?
Now's not the time for a science lesson, Miss Faye.
Yes, Your Honor. Anyway, since the cause of death was electrocution, isn't it possible that the victim died from being hit by a bolt of lightning?
I must admit, the thought had not occurred to me.
What kind of thoughts do occur to this guy anyway? This entire case is built on the premise that Mr. Doug Swallow was murdered. But that very premise itself is mistaken. The defense believes that Mr. Swallow was, in fact, the victim of a stray bolt.
Oh, a stray bolt? Not murder. It appears the defense may be onto something. Could it be that the death was actually an accidental one?
Alright, you did it, Mia. I'll be taking that not guilty now if
I'm hurt that you have such a low opinion of me, Miss May. I'm not a fool, you know. The prosecution has done its research, Your Honor. And we found that there were no lightning strikes that day at that location. Maybe 10 miles from there. What's more, we have evidence that the electrical cable is definitely linked to this case, and yet you guys did not notice the electrical cable was there earlier. Anyway. Evidence, Mr. Payne? Well, what is this evidence? This affidavit. And who is this affidavit from? The pharmacology students who were there, who were conducting experiments in their labs that day. Allow me to read out to the court the testimony of the pharmacology students. All equipment in the lab lost power all of a sudden at around 3 p.m. that day. Was it a blackout? All of the lab's equipment runs on high voltage, Your Honor.
So you're saying the equipment lost power because...
Precisely, they lost power because of the severed electrical cable. The power outage occurred at approximately 3 p.m., which fits with the time of death listed in the autopsy report. Exactly, in other words, the victim died as a result of touching the severed electrical cable. Well, you guys could have brought that up earlier. According to the students, the cables were very old and, you know, funding at schools. Am I right? They were planning on having them replaced in the near future. I see. Apparently the cables had become so brittle that even the smallest bump would have caused them to break.
Funding of schools, am I right? All goes to the football department.
However, there's one thing that troubles me. If the cable could have been broken by any small bump, then it wouldn't have snapped if it had been... It wouldn't have snapped if it hadn't been bumped into, correct? Well, I suppose you could say that. Miss Faye, do you have any thoughts regarding the cause of the severed cable?
Your Honor? I don't like how this is looking one bit. I have to come up with something to try and regain some momentum here. If it pleases the court, the defense would like to state its opinion.
Well then, let's hear it. Who or what was it that caused the cable to break?
Yeah, that's a good question. Okay, wait. Okay, yeah, nope, nothing there. Yeah, nope, nothing. I don't remember this part at all. Broken near an electrical pole? Maybe the umbrella? Who or what that caused the cable to break? Okay, maybe since they say there's some impact and then they'll explain. Explain? Yeah. I think that's it. This is it. This is why the cable snapped. Oh, what time is on his watch? It's like, I think it's like a little bit after 3. No, I think it's 3. I think it's at 3, if I remember. It's either a little bit before 3 or at 3. So, yeah.
Well, Your Honor. I believe that the only thing that has snapped is the mind of the defense.
Well, that was one of your best lines yet, Your Honor.
Ouch, that was harsh. Please, Your Honor, give me one more chance. Well, then let's hear it. Okay. Who was it that caused the cable to break? I mean, it could be Phoenix Wright's push. I don't remember this part at all. I wonder. It's him. Okay, yeah, back to the evidence. So it's not that. It's gotta be the umbrella. It's gotta be the stupid umbrella. Nope, nope, okay. At least you guys aren't penalizing me. I don't remember. Which one is it? Okay, it's gotta be Phoenix pushing the guy. Right? Yeah, it's gotta be like him. Oh my gosh. I'm like, don't judge me! Alright, yeah, this is it. It's because he pushed him. He pushed him into the pole. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it. No, phew. Yeah, 3rd time's the charm! Woo! Your Honor, please think back to Mr. Wright's testimony.
The defendant's testimony?
He said that after he pushed the victim, he heard a loud, sharp noise. Now, this happened at around 3 p.m., correct?
Yes, that sounds right. Wait, are you saying that?
The lab equipment lost power at 2:55 p.m., which fits right into Mr. Wright's timeline. In other words, it was Mr. Wright's shove that caused the power outage, which means we're reconvicting.
Yes, and the prosecution also came to that same conclusion. And it was that very shove that caused Mr. Swallow to be electrocuted.
I'm afraid I can't agree with you there, Mr. Payne.
What's that supposed to mean?
Take a good look at where the victim landed after being shoved. See the umbrella? It's by the electrical pole. that the victim banged into the pole as a result of being pushed. It was that impact that caused the cable to break.
Well, that makes sense, and then the victim was electrocuted.
No. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but no, it doesn't make sense at all. If the victim was shoved into the far pole, then he couldn't have been electrocuted by this severed cable in the foreground here. In other words, someone other than my client must have electrocuted the victim.
I had no idea. What in the court?
The lamentations of my enemy. How I've longed to hear them.
It's true. The defense is absolutely correct. There doesn't seem to be any way the defendant could have...
Mr. Judge, sir, may I say something? The madam's attorney's explanation. She said some things that are a little different than I remember them.
What the? Oh.
Please, just once more. May I please testify one last time? Please, Mr. Judge?
Of course it's alright. Just go ahead and give your new testimony.
This is it. She's finally starting to show her true colors. Ooh. Alright, we're gonna listen to this testimony and I'll have to say until next time.
The truth is, Feeny pushed him twice. The first time was into the electrical pole, and that's when the cable broke. And then Dougie tried his best to run away from him, and then Feeny caught up and crashed into him from behind. And the cable snapping and Dougie being electrocuted, it all occurred in less than a minute.
This is where the watch comes in, though. So there you go.
So after being shoved, the victim got up and tried to run away.
And that is when the defendant pushed him for the second time. I'm so sorry, Feeny, but I just have to tell the truth. Am I doing the right thing? Am I, Mr. Judge?
Oh, of course you are, my dear. As painful as it may seem, you are. Now then, Miss Faye, you may proceed with your cross-examination.
Alright, we will proceed with our cross-examination. Yeah, we'll finish this case. What day would be good? I have forgotten quite a bit though, so you'll see me be like, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I know, and then I'm like, oh, I don't remember. So, yeah. But yeah, I had tons of fun today. So, I hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend. Stay safe, all the above, and yeah, cliffhanger. We'll see what happens to Phoenix and Dolly and Mia, and I guess we care about Pain, sure. Oh yeah, we'll figure out what happens to Marvin Grossberg's hemorrhoids, because they're so important. Alright, I will see you guys later. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye! Yeah, but she's so shy. Every time I see her, she always says the same thing to me.